Hello peeps, welcome back to Big Deck Player with me, Matt Sparks. Today we're taking a look at a Druid deck. It's been a while since I've done a Druid deck and I figured it was about time. So this is called the Token Druid or the Miracle Druid. I found this on hearthstone.com. This was posted by Genobreaker and it's a really good deck, really good deck. So let's take a look at what is in this deck, shall we? Okay, so a spell that I don't generally use ever, question mark, is Moonfire, but there are two of them in this deck. They combo pretty nicely early on with this 2-cost legendary Blood Mage Thalnos because you get the extra spell damage. So this Moonfire becomes a +2, so that will get rid of most cards that are played turn 2, sometimes even turn 3. And because Moonfire is a 0 cost, you can play Blood Mage Thalnos turn 2 and then the Moonfire in the same go, and be able to take care of whatever it is that your opponent has on the board. We also have 2 Innovates. And we also have 2 Wild Growth for extra manas. Get that mana in as early as possible, and be able to get to the higher cost creatures that you have and spells. Okay, we've got 2 Claws, because that's fantastic. For 1 cost you get 2 armor and 2 attack. For 1 mana, that's awesome. So you should probably run that in most Druid decks, I imagine. 2 Power of the Wild. Now this combos pretty well with some of the other things that we've got in the deck. So this one will give you either a 3/2 Panther, or gives all your minions 1 attack and 1 health. So this will combo nicely alongside Savage Roar, which gives your characters 2 attack for that turn. So it's like a mini Bloodlust that the Shaman has. I won a game by comboing 2 of these together in the same turn, giving my characters +4 attack on that turn, which was pretty nice. So yeah, you can combo like Power of the Wild and Savage Roar. If you've got the right cards in your hand, you can even combo it with Force of Nature, which is pretty cool. But whether you'd really want to use Power of the Wild on something that's going to die, I guess if you want to using it as a finisher and you need the extra damage, you could do that. But generally I use Power of the Wild to buff up my minions that I have on the board. A good one to combo Power of the Wild with is the Violet Teacher. We've got 2 Violet Teachers, which when you cast a spell summons a 1/1 Violet Apprentice. Now the effect of the giving your minions 1/1 doesn't come into effect until after the Violet Teacher has summoned the 1/1 Apprentice. So you use Power of the Wild, the Violet Teacher summons the Apprentice that's 1/1, then the 1/1 from Power of the Wild gets applied to the Violet Teacher and the Violet Apprentice. So you effectively get a 2/2 from the Violet Teacher, which is pretty nice. We've got 2 Swipes, just because it's a really cool board clear or removal, especially early game, and especially against the Warlock Rush decks, the Zoo decks that seem to be quite popular at the moment, because they use stuff like the Abusive Sergeant, the Argent Squire, the Leper Gnomes, that kind of thing. So it's really good to be able to get rid of those things in one go, rather than have them all just kind of sitting around on the board slowly taking you down. Got 2 Silences in this form of Keeper of the Grove. We've got 2 of these. Also the ability to do 2 damage, which again is also really nice for getting rid of some of the 2 and 3 cost creatures. 2 Violet Teachers, as I just touched upon. We've got a few spells in this deck, so that's pretty nice to have. Also, if you can combo the Violet Teacher, if you can have the Violet Teacher and we've got 2 Gadgets and Auctioneers. If you can have them both out at the same time, you'll get double whammy for your spells that you cast. So you'll get a card draw and you'll get an extra minion for each spell that you cast. So if you can get them both out at the same time, that'd be fantastic, but sometimes it's just not possible. For an extra bit of card draw and spell damage, we've got 2 Azure Drakes, because I think these cards are fantastic and they're in virtually every deck that I play, I think, just because they're so great. So it's fairly standard, and also they've got the magic 4 attack, so against priests they're especially useful. 2 Druids of the Claw for taunt if we need it against some of the rush decks. Having a taunt with 6 health and 4 attack is pretty tasty, because it will take a few, especially like as I say, like the Warlock Zoo decks. It'll take like 2 or 3 minions to get rid of that, and yeah, it's just great quality. Already touched on the Gadgets and Auctioneers. Again, 4 attack, so useful against priests. Just be careful that, just bear in mind when you're facing priests, if you've got Gadgets and Auctioneer, Druid of Claw, Azure Drake, if you've got those minions out, you might not want to use your Power of the Wild and giving them +5 attack, unless you're going to be finishing them off that turn, because they can obviously get rid of that if they've got 5 or more attack. And last but not least, we've got Force of Nature, which I touched on earlier, which summons 3 2/2 tree ants with charge that die at the end of the turn. Again, this is pretty good, useful as a finisher, and for some quick removal. And 2 Ancient of Laws, where you get the option to draw more cards or restore some health. A really useful card. Just having the option to choose one or the other, depending on how your game goes, is a real benefit to the Druid class as a whole. Because if you're not doing as well, you might want to restore health, you might want to use Taunt, you might want to use Silence, you might want to use the deal 3 damage. Sorry, I didn't even mention Wrath. You might want to deal 3 damage instead of doing 1 and drawing a card. So you've got lots of ways to draw cards, you've got lots of ways for doing removal, and lots of ways for doing damage directly to the face. So there's some really good cards in here. If I was going to switch anything, I'm not sure about the Violet Teacher. I've generally found that the Violet Teacher doesn't do an awful lot when I've had the Violet Teacher out, but so maybe if I was going to change anything, I might change the Violet Teacher. But they've been fairly good so far, but you might want to change them maybe if you don't have that card. Alright, so that's the deck. Let's take a look at it in action.
Malfurion versus Garrosh.
Victory or death! I must protect the wild.
Okay, so we are coming up against a warrior deck. Well, we don't really need that just yet, and we don't really need that just yet. I will keep that, however, because we might need a little bit of removal early in the game. We're at rank 14, so this isn't top-end gaming, but the deck itself has been played up to legendary, so
Job's done.
it is possible. Let's give them a greetings and then end the turn. This is not what I would have liked this early in the game, but we have to make do with what we get. This is one of the decks that doesn't have any kind of means of getting rid of weapons, unfortunately.
For the wild.
So against the warrior, we don't really have much in the way of being able to protect ourselves against the fiery war axe or the Arcanite Reaper. So we might have to get taunts up to try and prevent ourselves from getting killed.
Charge forward!
Right. Well, we don't want him having that, so we'll get rid of that straight away. Especially as you use the coin to get it.
Job's done.
So that's his coin gone, and we've got rid of one of his Warsong commanders. So that's pretty handy.
I feel icky!
Okay, we have our Keeper of the Grove that can handle that. So I could kill it, Or I could silence it. I think I'm actually no. I'm gonna use this. I'll take 2 hits. I'll take 2 damage in order to draw a card. I don't mind.
For the wild.
It's no different from a warlock. Hero power, so that's fine. I'll keep my Keeper of the Grove for something a bit more important than a leper gnome.
For the war chief.
Oh, this could prove to be difficult. Ah, no. I'll just use this. Let's get rid of that. It's not what I would have liked, but I guess... Oh no, I wouldn't have had enough mana. I was going to say I could have done 2 damage to it with that, and then use my hero power to take it out. But didn't have enough mana. I do have enough mana this turn though, should I choose to do that. I think that's pretty much the only thing I can do to be able to get rid of it though, so...
I must safeguard the land. For the wild.
I think we're going to have to do that. Unfortunately, we're taking hits. We're going to have to try and avoid taking much more damage to ourselves. Although we do have an Ancient of Law, so we can restore a little bit of health if we need to. I think next turn, if we can, might use Gadget Auctioneer and Wild Growth. That way we'll draw a card where I get an extra mana crystal. And 4/4 is a pretty solid card anyway. But let's see what the warrior does.
What
He hasn't
now?
equipped any weapons yet, which is surprising. I would have expected him to have done that by now. Oh, speak of the devil. Okay, well, if I put this guy out, he's probably just going to kill him next turn with the axe. So maybe I don't want to do that. I don't think I'm going to have much choice though, so I might as well stick to my plan. At least I can draw into something else. Okay, so we'll have 9 mana next turn. And put my taunt out, which will help me out.
Try this.
Yeah, that'll help me out quite a lot.
I feel icky.
And another Power of the Wild. Not ideal, but that's fine. Okay, let's put the taunt out in. Let's get our Violet Teacher out as well, and then next turn we can perhaps buff them if they're still alive. He's got to get through this first, and 6 health is not going to be that easy for him to do. Especially now he doesn't have his Arcanite Reaper equipped. I wouldn't imagine he's really going to want to take that 4 damage to the face if he can avoid it. But unless he puts something else on the board... okay. Fair enough, he's got an excellent... Well, that's not good. But now what's he going to do? I guess he could hit me with his axe and... No, he's going to use that to trade. Or is he? No, he's not. He's going straight for the face. Okay. Wow. Now we're in a little bit of a pickle. Let's hope we pull something useful.
Where shall I strike?
Don't really want to use this to get rid of that, but I think I'm going to have to.
Instruction begins.
Okay, this is not going quite as well as some of my previous games have gone with this deck, but we're still in it. It's not over until it's over, as they say. I would have liked to have a bit more variation in the cards that I've got. This is pretty much useless now, so it's a shame. Although if I can get a Gadget Zan Auctioneer out, using that and then the subsequent cards that you get as a result, it's pretty nice for kind of going through your cards and stuff, so we shall see. Oh, he's taking another 4. Okay. Has he got another Execute? No? No, he hasn't got anything. Okay. Fine. Well, in that case, I'm going to restore some health. And then I'm going to use Power of the Wild to give my minions extra health. I'm going to hit him for 10 that turn. Don't really need that. I guess I could have used that and used another one, but we'll save it. Because he's dead next turn unless... Well, I guess if he armors up, that'll save him. Maybe. No, it won't. Even if he armors up, it won't save him. I'll still be able to kill him off next turn. Unless he puts a taunt out, or he heals himself, or he kills off one of these minions. That's what he's got to do. That's what he's got to do, otherwise he's lost the game.
Charge forward!
That's not going to be enough.
It's time for a little blood.
Yep, that's not going to be enough. Okay, well, GG. We'll use this. We'll use this.
For the wild.
There we go. Even when we thought we were going to lose throughout most of the game, once it gets to the like higher mana costs, to the cards that we get at the end, they seem to just be good every time. Like really good. As I say, I don't think I've played a few games with this so far. I don't think I've lost yet. Now, I know that's like famous last words, but I don't want to kind of big this deck up too much because, you know, there's always like bad card draw and all that kind of thing that can make you lose games. But so far, I've played about 5 or 6 games with this deck. I haven't lost. I think this is one of the strongest decks I've played for a while that can be... You can be on top the whole way through and just completely decimate your opponent, or you can do a similar sort of game to that where you're on the back foot the whole time and you think, you know, that you might lose it, and then you come back and win. So this is one of the strongest decks I've played in a long time, and I'm going to be playing this a bit more. If you decide to play it, let me know. Let me know how you get on. If you make any videos using this deck, feel free to link me to them via Twitter. I'm really liking this deck. So I hope you have fun with it. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.